Okay, so something pretty remarkable just happened in New York City, a place you might think has seen it all. We're going to dive into how one mayoral election is being seen as a sign of a much bigger shift in politics, what some are calling a great awakening of people getting back in the game.
I can see the dawn of a better day for humanity. So, New York's new mayor-elect, a 34-year-old named Zohran Mamdani, kicks off his victory speech with these words from an old-school labor leader. And right away, you know this isn't just your typical "thank you for voting" speech. Nope, this was a statement. He was signaling the start of a whole new chapter.
So a Democratic socialist is now the mayor-elect of America's biggest city. Now, what does that really mean in this case? Well, it's all about a platform centered on using the government to tackle big problems like the housing crisis and investing in public goods. So in this explainer, we're going to unpack how this victory happened and what it might say about the power of hope in an age where, let's be honest, a lot of us are feeling pretty cynical about politics.
To really get why this is such a big deal, you've got to understand the backdrop. We have to look at the problem that this whole movement was trying to solve, this deep, widespread feeling that the system just wasn't working for regular people anymore.
And this quote from Mamdani's speech, man, it just hits the nail on the head. You know that feeling? For so many years, it felt like politics was this exclusive game happening somewhere else, played by and for people with money and connections, while everyone else was just stuck on the sidelines. This slide really lays it all out, right? A tale of two politics. On the one hand, you've got the old way, cynicism, despair, the kind of division that's often funded by billionaires. But on the other side, you've got this new mandate, all about hope, grassroots power, and this idea of politics being something that we do, not something that's just done to us. It's a massive shift in thinking about who's actually in charge. Okay, so how do you even begin to build something like that? It's a great question. It wasn't about big checks or powerful friends. No, this was a grassroots movement, built from the ground up, specifically to challenge that old way of doing things. And just check out the scale of this thing. We're talking over 100,000 volunteers. 100,000. Imagine that. All those people knocking on doors, making phone calls, and just having real conversations. They were literally chipping away at that cynicism, one doorstep at a time. It was a people-powered engine, through and through.
And this right here really gets to the core of it. This is that new paradigm. The whole message was a fundamental shift in perspective. It's like shifting from just being a passenger on the bus to actually getting in the driver's seat of your own democracy. So, we've seen the how. Now let's talk about the what. What's the actual vision here? Well, at its heart, it's all about bringing people together instead of finding ways to tear them apart. And listen to this part of his victory speech. He didn't just give a generic thank you to his supporters. No, he got specific. He named the Yemeni bodega owners, the Mexican grandmothers, the Senegalese taxi drivers, the Trinidadian line cooks. This was a super clear signal. This win is for everyone who makes this city run, especially the people who so often feel invisible in the halls of power. And he just doubled down on that idea with this quote. It's a straight-up rejection of the kind of politics we've all seen for so long, the kind that thrives on pitting people against each other. The core idea is simple but powerful. We're all in this together. Your struggle is my struggle.
Now, this wasn't just talk and ideals. It was all backed up by a pretty concrete plan. The idea is to have a government that's both competent and compassionate. First up, tackling the cost of living crisis. I mean, who doesn't want a city they can actually afford to live in? Then, investing in people with better schools and infrastructure. The whole goal is to create a city hall that serves everyone, not just a select few. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds great, but is it just a lot of nice-sounding words? Is there any actual proof of this democratic awakening? Well, let's look at the numbers because they are pretty stunning. So, take a look at this. For the last 4 elections, voter turnout was, well, kind of depressing. Less than a third of registered voters were even showing up. It just screams people have checked out. But then, something changed, dramatically. And here's the headline number. More than 2 million New Yorkers voted. You have to go all the way back to 1969 to find a turnout that high for a mayoral race. This is exactly what they mean when they talk about re-engagement. This is the proof in the pudding. And it all comes back to this idea of unity as a defense. This wasn't just a campaign slogan. It's being framed as a real strategy for protecting democracy. He's basically saying, you want to come after one of us? Good luck. You'll have to deal with all of us. It's about building a human shield of solidarity. So what does this all mean in the end? Well, it leaves us with this one really big question. Is this New York story just a one-off, a fluke? Or is this a genuine blueprint, a new way to do politics that could actually fight back against all the division with hope and a whole lot of people power? Could this actually work in other places too?